Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. It is another hot one out there today. It is hot and humid, so my hair is up in a little bun on the top of my head. I need to find some good bun tutorials because I always have that really tiny bun that looks horrible. I can't get that big poofy sloppy bun to save my life. I don't know what's wrong with me, but it's up there. There it is. This is going to be my monthly update for pan in every palette. We are way past the point of me keeping track of the numbers when I'm filming these videos, but I always have it posted on the thumbnail so that somebody knows how long it's been. This is a project that was created by Lady Pans a Lot over on Instagram. That is her Instagram account handle. You can find her that way, but I will have her account linked down below along with everybody else that's doing this project. Hi. Hi. I'm too sweaty. I can't have you touching me. I'm just too hot. Oh, thank you. The whole point of this project is to try to hit pan in as many palettes as we have. This project spoke to me from the second I heard about it because I love that idea. I love the idea of hitting pan. So I am working on 4 palettes at a time. I am moving at a snail's pace, but I do feel like I had a good month this month, despite the fact that I did not hit any new pans. I feel like I used these palettes, some more than usual, so I'm happy with that. So let's talk about the palettes and how many uses I have given them over the past month, over the month of June, throughout the month of June. Yes.
Can we have some orange juice?
We don't have any orange juice. As always, I like to talk about these palettes in order from my least used to my most used for the month. So we're gonna start with my ColorPop Yes Please palette. The pan I'm trying to hit is this yellow one right here, and I used it 2 times in the past month. I feel like there is the shallowest of dips going on there. I don't know if you can see it, but I am happy that I was able to use this 2 times. Both times I used it as a transition shade, once for a bronzy eyelid look and the other for like an olivey green look. And I liked how both of those looks came out. It was very fall appropriate. It was very subculture-ish, and I really liked the way it looked. So I enjoyed that, and I could see myself enjoying those kind of looks well into the fall months. It was good. So 2 times for this shadow right here in the past month. The other palette I managed to use 2 times is this guy right here. I'm wearing it on my eyelids today. I have fallen in love with this shadow again, and it has really motivated me to zero in on the light lavender that's in my baby pan, that palette, so I can knock that out and enjoy this more because holy cow, this is good. The sweat is running down my forehead. When I do a mental comparison of Pat McGrath to Natasha Denona, Natasha Denona almost always wins in my head when I'm comparing the two. I really like the Natasha Denona formula, but the 2 times I've used this shadow in the past month, I absolutely loved the way my makeup came out, and I don't want to take anything away from Mrs. McGrath because it is beautiful. And this shade is very different than my Baby Pan That palette, but I use them very similarly, and that's the problem. So I am going to knock that little shadow out as soon as possible so I could get back to enjoying this more, but I did use it twice. I feel like if I hold this in some angles, again, like the slightest dip is starting to show, but I still have so long to go, so many more uses to go before I hit pan on this. I basically could have achieved the eye look I did today with these 3 shadows, but I only used this one from this palette today. The palette with the next most amount of uses, I don't think that makes sense at all, but I can't think of a better way to say it. The palette with the next most uses, that doesn't sound much better either. The next palette I'm going to talk about is my green brown palette from Natasha Denona. I have used the shadow in this palette 8 times in the past month. That is possibly a record for me, and I think there is clearly a dip showing. One of you guys even left a comment when I was shopping my stash for my bronze eyeshadow video that you could see it as well. So this is the shadow right here. that I'm working to hit pan on. I almost always apply the shadow with my finger. I would say 6 out of those 8 uses, I used the shadow as an inner corner highlight like I did today, but twice I used it as an all over lid shade, and I absolutely loved it that way too. It is just such a good shadow. I'm so glad I got 8 uses out of it in the past month. I also set a separate side goal for this palette to use some of the shades that I didn't have any use on, because I was talking last month about how ridiculous it is that I have this super expensive palette and there's still so many eyeshadows in this palette that I haven't used even once. So I did use some more shades in this palette in the last month. This was the green shade, the olivey green shade I was talking about that I did with the yellow. I had this all over my eyelid. I absolutely loved it, but I also used this one right here all over my eyelid on another day. This is a duochrome. I know it doesn't really look that way. I should give you guys swatches. And I also used this matte deepest brown shade. It's not that deep. It's actually a very wearable brown, but it's the deepest matte shade in the palette. So I also used those 3 shadows this past month, and I'm kind of patting myself on the back. I mean, I should be using them. There is the olivey green gold shade. There's the duochrome right there, and there's the matte brown. There are still several shades in this palette I haven't used even once, so I'm going to continue that goal for this next month to use at least one shade one time other than the one I'm trying to hit pan on in a look. I think I can do it. Oh, I think I also used this shadow right here for my bronzy look video. Yes, I did. Let me swatch that one too. So I did a video trying to talk myself out of buying the new Natasha Denona Bronze Collection palette. And for that video, I had this shadow all over my eyelid, which I think is the perfect bronze shadow and a huge part of the overall look that that bronze palette gives is this shade right here. I mean, if I could sum up that palette in one eyeshadow, it would be this one. So yeah, I used 4 shadows that I'd never used in this palette over the past month as well. So I'm very happy with that. I'm very happy with how much use I got out of this palette over the past month. Okay, the last palette I'm going to talk about is my face palette. This is a Makeup Revolution London Ultra Blush palette in Sugar and Spice. The blush I'm trying to hit pan on is this one right here, and I used it 9 times in the past month. Sometimes I think I can see a ring showing through, starting to poke through in the pan, and other times I cannot see it, but I've always suspected that these pans are not that deep, and I do think I will be hitting pan in it soon. I am playing around with other blushes. I put a blush in Project 10 Uses, so that took up some of the days. There were probably 2 no makeup days in the past month. And then I'm also using an eyeshadow as a blush, plus I have those highlighting papers that I put into Labor of Love It that I'm trying to finish off. So I do have some other blushes distracting me, otherwise I would just be using this one every single day. I don't think, did I use any of the other blushes in the past month? Let me see. This past month, the only other blush in this palette that I used was this one right here, number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, number 6. I used this one time in the past month, but other than using that one time and this one 9 times, I didn't touch any of the other blushes or highlighters in this palette. I think this was a really good month for me, even though I didn't hit pan. I'm really happy with how much use I got out of these 4 palettes. At the end of the day, that's kind of the point of pan in every palette for me. Obviously, I would love to have a pan showing in every palette I own, but the side goal is to just get more use to more palettes that I own, because as a project panner, I definitely tend to zero in on certain palettes and just focus on them and then ignore everything else. So I'm really happy with how this month turned out. If you're not subscribed to my channel, I do hope you consider subscribing and supporting my channel so that you can see more content like this. It's mostly project panning with some other stuff thrown in. But that is going to be it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the... Don't touch, I'm so hot.
I gave you a hug.
Thank you. I love the hugs, but I'm so hot. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
This is how you do it. You just sit down like this, and then you sit down with your butt. And you do it like this, and then you get back up. The next trip is meat surgery. Meat surgery is on you. And down. And then you jump. If you do it like this, there you go.
You have so many tricks.